Hello, everyone. This is Laurel Fisher, Grants Manager for Metro Arts, Nashville's Office of Arts and Culture, and I'm going to share with you on this video some information about the Arts Build Communities program that we do in partnership with the Tennessee Arts Commission. So let's get started. The Arts Build Communities program is a partnership that we have with the Tennessee Arts Commission. We serve as the designated agency for this program for all Davidson County projects. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the program, what are eligible projects, what you need to have ready in order to apply, and hopefully be able to answer a number of questions for you before you dive in to the application process. First of all, just a little bit about us. Metro Arts is the Metro Nashville Arts Commission officially. We are a department of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, founded in 1978. We have a long history of doing grant making in Davidson County and also have a long-standing history as partners for the ABC program with the Tennessee Arts Commission. All of our programs speak to our theory of change. Metro Arts believes that all Nashvillians should have access to a creative life, and that is our vision. So we strive to meet this goal through three community outcomes in all of the programs that we offer: vibrant and creative neighborhoods, stronger creative workers, and deeper cultural participation are the three areas that we believe can really help make our vision a reality. Our agency is divided into three areas mainly. Grants is a huge component of what we do at Metro Arts. It makes up about 65 to 70% of our operating budget every year, and those funds are redistributed into the community via grants through a variety of programs. Community programs include our work around racial equity and arts leadership, our learning cadre, and restorative justice in the arts, which is our partnership with the Juvenile Justice Center here in Nashville. We also have a number of things that happen in the public art and placemaking team. They offer Learning Lab, an artist training program, mural assistance, Thrive, our microfund program, in addition to our permanent public art collection that is managed by that team. So all of us together make up the Metro Arts Nashville's Office of Arts and Culture. You can learn more about any of these programs by going to our website at artsnashville.org. So now for some specific information about the ABC program. So the Tennessee Arts Commission engages designated agencies, 13 of them, across the state of Tennessee to help deploy these funds and help them get to individual projects in these particular communities. So you can see by the groupings of colors that a particular designated agency may have a service area of 4 or 5 counties. And in the case of Davidson County, which you can see there in the center in purple, and in Hamilton County in the Chattanooga area, those two areas have one designated agency that serves as the ABC contact for projects in that county. So we can serve as your point of contact if you're doing a project in Nashville-Davidson County. If it's something that's happening in the surrounding counties, you can look on the Tennessee Arts Commission website to identify who might be the right designated agency to reach out to for a project that's in the Middle Tennessee region and not necessarily just for Davidson County. All ABC funded projects must meet at least one of the program objectives that are listed here. And so I've provided a couple of examples for you of some previously funded projects who have specifically connected to these program objectives. Oftentimes an ABC project meets more than one objective, but it is a requirement that a project identify as having one of these objectives. So a couple of examples here. So the first bullet point, provide innovative arts experiences that are new or unfamiliar to the community. Chatterbird is an experimental chamber ensemble who recently partnered with the Metro Archives. They had cataloged a number of historical photos of Nashville, and so they put together a program in which they would visually display the photos that the archives had cataloged, while Chatterbird provided musical accompaniment, improvised musical accompaniment to the images being shown. So it was a really unique experience to tie a new art form with also history of the local region. Our next bullet point, offer arts programs that are designed to help affect positive change in community social issues. This past year, Intersection, a classical chamber ensemble, was successful getting an ABC grant for their program, in which they performed the choral piece, The 7 Last Words of the Unarmed Man, which was a piece written in direct response to the police brutality against young African-American men. So they put together a community chorus of men from all different walks of life and racial backgrounds to sing this particular piece at a concert in February of this year. Another program objective is develop arts programming that strengthens social networks. The Nashville Public Radio has been doing a really unique project this year around poetry on demand. They've partnered with a couple of other organizations, arts organizations in Nashville, to record stories from the community and then have a poet on site who then can turn that story into a poem on site. It's been a really unique project and is going to result in a podcast series that NPR will be hosting. Another objective is undertake cultural arts initiatives that enhance a community identity. A really great example of this is the African American Cultural Alliance. They have been hosting the African Street Festival for a number of years, which provides a great deal of community identity for that North Nashville area, as well as significant economic development for the neighborhood and for the vendors and performers who participate in that event. Our last program objective is offer training that helps experiences or emerging artists develop entrepreneurial skills. Our Arts and Business Council of Greater Nashville runs a number of things that relate to this objective, but specifically Periscope, which is their artist training program, has been successfully funded through an ABC grant in the past. So these are here just as an idea for you to have an idea of what has been funded in the past, what are some unique ways in which you can use the arts to meet some of these community objectives. And if you have an idea of your own that you want to brainstorm, feel free to give me a call or email me anytime. Now, this particular program is a smaller grant fund pool than some of our other programs, but it does have a really huge impact. So I just wanted to point out that in 2019, we gave out $29,380 in ABC grants, but that also leveraged a great amount of additional resources. So in this particular year, our applicants were able to leverage $128,000 from other funders that was then used to augment the ABC funds that they received through this program. It also helped them leverage some in-kind support, a significant amount of in-kind support of almost $150,000. And these are non-cash things. It could be donated space, it could be supplies that have been donated, or someone's expertise, time and expertise. So these dollars really can leverage a lot of other resources. And ultimately, it's about reaching as many people in a quality, authentic way as possible. There were almost 500 volunteers engaged that year, 157 artists, and almost 30,000 Nashville residents were served through projects that were funded through ABC, which is really impressive, and it really speaks to the good work that our arts organizations do in Nashville-Davidson County. The program description is here. The awards that are given through this program range between $500 and $2,500. You can ask for funds in up to 2 expense categories. So for instance, if you're going to ask for a grant of $2,500, you could assign $2,000 of that to your artist fees, and then the remaining $500 for supplies. That would be one way to split the award between 2 categories. You don't necessarily have to split it into 2 categories. You can, for instance, use the whole $2,500 for artist fees if that seems to be the best use of the funds for your specific project. But you do need to limit that to 2. And all awards must be matched dollar for dollar, which means that if you do receive a grant of $2,500 in this program, you must be able to show that you can raise or already have on hand $2,500 that can match that. So it could be that you are going to just use some existing funds as that match, or you know that you have a particular corporate donor lined up or an upcoming fundraiser in which you know you'll be able to find those matching funds. But you do need to notate where that cash will be coming from. In-kind donations, which are those non-cash donations, cannot be used as match in this particular instance. The deadline for this program is July 2nd. This year, the Flux online grants management system that the Tennessee Arts Commission uses will shut the application at 12 a.m. So please make sure to have your stuff submitted and saved and everything ready to go before this time. I am happy to provide technical assistance and talk you through any last-minute questions all through from now until July 2nd, but do keep in mind our office hours are 8:30 to 4:30, so if you do need to reach me that day, please be sure to call me during business hours. The timeline is August 17th through June 15th. This means that any projects that are funded through ABC must take place either on August 17th or after. So nothing funded through this program can start before that date. This is the date in which the awards will be announced publicly, and so you'll be able to know whether or not those funds will be there to support your upcoming project. And everything does need to be finished up by June the 15th and reports turned in. Eligibility is very specific, so make sure you've gone through this before you begin your application. Applicants must be a nonprofit organization legally chartered in Tennessee, and you must have a 501c3 designation with the IRS. You can be an entity of government, so public libraries and public schools are eligible, as well as some local county departments. So if you have any questions about that, and that's a situation that you're in, please give me a call and we can talk through that. Please note that colleges and universities are eligible to apply in this category if the activity is open and engages the surrounding community. So it needs to be a project that is not just designed for the academic community specifically, but involves those maybe in that community as well as those surrounding. So you'll have to, if you are a college or a university planning to apply, feel free to give me a call and we can talk through what criteria you will need to meet in order for your project to be eligible for this program. There's a few things to keep in mind. Our legal documents you're going to need to collect and be prepared to upload into the Flux system are your Tennessee State Charter, the 501c3 determination letter, and the most recent copy of the organization's bylaws. Sometimes those things take a while to track down, so make sure you've done that legwork prior to starting your application in the Flux system. Funding restrictions related to this program include you cannot receive ABC funds for a project that's already being funded by a TIC grant. You cannot use ABC funds for capital purchases like repairing a roof or purchases of equipment like sound equipment, etc. Seed money to start a new organization cannot, ABC funds cannot be used for that. ABC funds cannot be used for in-school projects. Those would be curriculum-based projects that are happening in a K through 12 setting during the day. After-school projects are eligible, but in-school projects are not for ABC funds. Endowments and out-of-state travel are also not eligible expenses in this particular category. Each application is scored using a scoring criteria. And so for ABC specifically, artistic and cultural merit of the project is worth up to 35 points, as well as community engagement and participation is worth 35 points. So essentially, you want to make sure that there's a solid artistic component to this project, that you have qualified artists who are leading these programs. And then you also need to show some evidence that your community engagement plan is actually going to have some result in a good bit of participation from Nashville residents in these projects. So make sure you've thought through what is that communication plan going to be, and how are we going to engage the surrounding community? Do we have the right people who are going to be the lead artists for this project? And have we really mapped out what's going to be the various components? Those really result in the strongest applications in this category. Equally as important is the budget and financial support area and operational practice. The panelists will want to see that there are realistic budgets involved and that you do have a plan that really maps out how you're going to fully execute the project and for it to be successful. So they're going to be looking for these things in the application that you provide. Now, the Tennessee Arts Commission does use an online grants management system called Flux. And if you already have a login user account for this system, you're welcome to use that again for applying for ABC. If you've never applied for a Tennessee Arts Commission grant before, you will need to create a new user account in Flux. And make sure you record your login and password, because you will need to refer to Flux throughout the application process and through, if you're awarded a grant, to be able to submit revised budgets and contracts, etc. So make sure you keep that handy. And I do want to take you briefly to the Tennessee Arts Commission website so you can see where to find some of these things. So this is the Tennessee Arts Commission main page. You can find out all the information that you need about the ABC program by going to this section called Grants at a Glance. Once you get there, you'll see all the different grant programs that the Tennessee Arts Commission offers. But in this case, the Arts Build Communities program is right here, and it has an open sign next to it, so you know that this is the one you're looking for at the time. This will provide you all the information and the guidelines related to this program as well. You'll want to fully read through these guidelines before you get started, just so that you make sure that you are indeed eligible and that your project meets the criteria specified. I also want to point out that there is some, you can access the online application here by clicking this Apply Online button. And this will take you to the Flux online system, and this is their login portal. So you'll be able to access it even if you forget this address up at the top. You can always go to the Tennessee Arts Commission site to access that. Well, let's get back over here. This is what happens after the application is submitted. So there is a panel review process that helps us determine the scores and which projects will receive funding through the program. So we begin with volunteer citizen panelists. We engage 5 citizen panelists for all panels. And those individuals will have access to the applications prior to the panel meeting date. They will read your application, they will jot down some questions, they'll make some comments, and then they will all gather together for a public panel meeting. In this meeting, anyone can come and observe the review process and see how the panelists interact with the applicants and what kinds of questions they ask. So we encourage you to share with other members of your organization that this meeting is public and they are welcome to attend this meeting. From those scores, we determine the ranking and allocations related to each grant. So ranking essentially means the order in which the scores come back at the end of the panel day. So for instance, if the highest scoring application in the program this year was a 92, then that application is assigned first. So it is ranked number 1. If the second highest scoring application was an 86, then that application is then ranked number 2, and so on and so forth. The allocations, the amount that the grant is funded at, is directly attached to that ranking. So a higher ranking application will receive a higher percentage of the requests that they asked for. And that would go down until the funds are completely spent. So for instance, the highest scoring application, who's ranked number 1, may receive 100% of the grant request. Number 2 may receive 90%. Number 3 may receive 80%, and so on, until all the funds available have been assigned as awards. Our public panel meeting this year will be held at the Fulton campus, which is located at the corner of 2nd Avenue and Lindsley in downtown Nashville. On the left, you'll see a picture of the Howard office building. This building is often used for folks who are visiting the clerk's office. And just to the left of that building is the building photo that you see in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, which is Lindsley Hall. And so our public meeting will be in that building on the 1st floor, and the meeting is scheduled for 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Wednesday, August 8th. Now, each applicant will be assigned a 10-minute period of time for the panel to review the application. I will create an agenda based on the number of applications we receive, and then I will send that to you so that you'll know exactly what time that the panel will be reviewing your specific application. And so, as I mentioned, those panels will consist of 5 citizen volunteer panelists, and 1 Tennessee Arts Commissioner will serve on that panel as well. And those individuals are going to be prepared to ask their questions or give comments to the applicants at that panel meeting. So while attendance is not required at this meeting, it is strongly recommended, because we've seen in the past that if a representative of the organization is present, there is a tendency for the scores to increase because a question was answered, or the panelists have more clarity on what the project's going to entail. So I highly recommend, even if you aren't specifically available to attend, please encourage a board member or a staff person, or maybe even a volunteer who's familiar with the project, that they come and be prepared to answer any questions related to this specific project. Advocacy is incredibly important. None of this would be possible without the support of our state and local elected officials. So we do encourage you to take a moment to thank them for their support, and encourage your organizations as well, board members or staff or children of staff. Engage them in the process as well. And none of this would be possible without our Tennessee Specialty License Plate Program. These funds go to the Tennessee Arts Commission to re-grant in programs like this through grants across the state of Tennessee. So we are really appreciative of this program, and we want to ensure that that continues. And if you haven't personally purchased a specialty license plate, I encourage you to do so. You do not have to just purchase an arts plate, but you could also purchase your favorite college football team or some of a different cause that you feel passionate about. In those cases, a percentage of the plate fee goes to the charity of choice, and then a percentage goes to the Tennessee Arts Commission. In the case of the arts plate, 100% of those proceeds go to the Tennessee Arts Commission. But even if you get a different kind of plate, you are still supporting the Tennessee Arts Commission, and we appreciate that. Again, my name is Laurel Fisher. I'm the grants manager for Metro Arts. I am the point of contact for this program, so please don't hesitate to give me a call or email me if you have questions. We look forward to seeing your application, and we hope that you have a really great day. Thanks so much.